Okay, let's go.
And wow. It's like I've never done this before. I always have one thing that I've messed up, right? Let me get that out of my mouth because that is unprofessional. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to A Spooky Mysteries. We are going to delve into a few different stories today. We're going to mix and match here. Well, not mix and match. We got three stories that all flow together that I'm going to break up into three different parts and I'm going to post everywhere else. I'm gonna combine those three into one main story that's going to Spotify, and the last story or the last part of this today is going to be over a subject I always try to stay away from, the cartels, like always. But it's going to be for its own separate thing also on YouTube. So it's in for a bumpy ride. I got a lot of reading to do because, like I said, I always write things down, and I wrote it all down, and I'm ready to go. I just got to double check one tiny little thing. Oh my goodness. Will this make noise? If it did, I didn't hear it. There it goes. I should have put it on preview instead of out loud, but y'all hear laughter on the background. I had to click a laugh track, but I didn't put it preview. I did it live, so y'all heard it. Okay, get rid of that. Where did my... Okay, there it goes. Cool. So the first part. Actually, no, everything's good. Okay. I thought I was going to do something. Oh, that's what I wanted to change. Actually, that's kind of fitting, but it's not what we're talking about. The name of this part is If You See Them, It's Too Late. So we're going to take that. There you go. If you see them, it's already too late. I was going to do something bad. We'll leave it at that. My brain is always scattered. So let's begin. Should I do lighting? Oh, one of these days I'm gonna do mood lighting because I do have a new ring light, so I could do that. As you can see right here in the little corner, little Jack Skellington glowing in the dark over there. My little tattoo right here of Jack Skellington face. I decorate it actually. I'll color it in and then draw like a Halloween. Well, it's already Halloween, so I just color it in, or I'll color in the face white, and then I'll put in a Santa Claus hat and then color that in red and white. But yeah, kind of like that. That's a Christmas Jack Skellington. Sorry, distractions. This is always small talk, because we always have the small talk at the beginning and it's always something random. It's sometimes over the news of the world, especially in the Hispanic community. This is just random small talk today. Oh, I got my my area set up. Look at that. That can of Dr. Pepper is unopened and it's only half a can. That's how it came from Dr. Pepper. So it's on my shelf next to my Edgar Allan Poe book. And don't worry about that mask. That's something else. And I got two candles, one right here, and then a Cucamora right there. Dia de los Muertos and Moana. It's a mix and mash of things I like, but it actually looks somewhat aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, except for maybe the stuff on this side. That's a Snoop Dogg cookbook. Maybe this right here needs to go to make it look cleaner. Yeah, I think that would... Okay. Small talk over. Let's get on with the episode. So, imagine being lured in by a woman, a beautiful woman, only to find yourself staring at a horrifying horse-like face, or being stalked by a demonic dog with burning red eyes. These aren't just creatures from a nightmare. They're legends, woven deep into the stories of Latin America. They are spirits of vengeful omens, of despair, and messengers of death for anyone unlucky enough to cross their path. There's no talking your way out of it, and there are no second chances. The moment you see them, your fate is sealed. We're about to explore the terrifying final moments of people who ran into Latin America's most horrifying spirits, beings that signal your doom the second you lay eyes on them. These are more than just campfire stories, they're cultural warnings, and for some, they were the last warning they ever got. Dun dun dun. Put in dramatic music here. The night air is thick and warm as you walk down the night air is thick and warm as you walk down a lonely dirt road. You've had a few too many drinks, and the path back to town feels longer than usual. Twisting through deep, dark shadows, that's when you hear it. A woman humming softly, mixed with the gentle sound of splashing water. Your curiosity, maybe sharpened by the alcohol, pulls you off the path, down by the river. Lit by the moon, you see her. She's impossibly beautiful, bathing her long, dark hair falling down her back. Bathing with her long, dark hair falling down her back, hiding her face, but just showing enough to completely draw you in. This is La Ciguanaba. Her legend, whispered from Guatemala to El Salvador, tells of a cursed woman. Her name was once Cihuahuet, which means beautiful woman, but she was condemned for being vain and a terrible mother. Her punishment? To look beautiful from a distance, an irresistible trap for wandering men, especially unfaithful ones. You feel an invisible pull and you move closer. You call out, but she doesn't answer. She just keeps bathing, a strange mix of vulnerable and alluring. Every step you take towards her feels like a victory. She rises from the water, her back still to you, and starts walking toward a dark, secluded ravine. You follow, your mind clouded with desire, completely unaware of the danger. You just have to see her face. You crave that. You just have to see her face. When she finally stops and turns, everything freezes. The beautiful face you were imagining isn't there. Instead, you see the long, rotting head of a horse with bulging, blood red eyes that burn with pure hate. Her skin, which looked perfect, so perfect, is now wrinkled and green. Her lips peel back to show yellow, horse like teeth, and a sound comes out of her throat. Not a scream, but a cackling laugh that echoes through the ravine, mocking you. This is the last thing you will ever see. Some say the shock of her face is enough to stop a man's heart. Others say she just gives you a little push into the ravine and your soul is lost forever. Either way, the result is the same. Once you look upon her true face, it's already too late. It's a scary story. Like I said, a lot of stories across Latin America and Hispanic culture all have a, how do I put this, like a caution. They're all cautionary tales. Like there's no story across Latin America that's not just a story. It's always has a meaning behind it. Kind of, this is our version of Aesop's fables, except they're terrifying. A monster's face can shatter your mind, sure, but some things don't need to show you a face to fill. Some things don't need to show you a face to fill you with dread. I wrote that weird, or I paused weird and it messed my brain up. But some things don't need to show you a face to fill you with dread. Sometimes the horror is more primal, a feeling that crawls up your spine, a shadow that stalks you from the corner of your eye. It's a loyal companion that promises only one thing: your doom. We're moving on to the next section. This is a transition if you haven't figured that out. Transition! This one's over El Cadejo. The tavern doors. The tavel. We're going to mark that because that's a flub. I don't like flubs. Let me get a little sip here. Can you imagine if I get sponsored by Liquid Death? I would lose my mind. Especially since I have this right here. Liquid Death artwork. It's across my wall. I'm going to fill that whole wall up with it. I don't mean to do that. The tavern door swings shut behind you, and you're left alone on the winding country road. The world swaying pleasantly, but as you walk, the silence of the night starts to feel heavy. You get that distinct, unnerving feeling that you're being followed. You glance over your shoulder, but there's nothing there. You pick up the pace, but the feeling only gets stronger. Then you see it, a flicker in your peripheral vision. A large, shaggy dog as big as a cow with goat like hooves and eyes that burn like hot coals. This is El Cadejo Negro, the Black Cadejo. As the story goes, there are two Cadejos. One is white, a good spirit with blue eyes that protects travelers from harm. But the other is pure evil. As it gets closer, you can smell it, a foul mix of sulfur and decay. It doesn't growl or bark, it just stalks you. When you stop, it stops. When you turn, it vanishes into the shadows, only to reappear a moment later, a little bit closer. It's toying with you, letting the dread build until you can't take it anymore. Your drunken courage is gone, replaced by cold, creeping terror. You start to turn, but the cadejo. You start to run, but the cadejo easily keeps up. Its very presence is a death omen. They say if you speak to it, or even turn your back on it for too long, you'll be driven insane. For those who meet it, the Black Cadejo, the end doesn't always come from a bloody attack. Victims are often found dead from sheer fright, their hearts having just given out. Others are discovered days later, completely mad, their souls stolen by the hypnotic stare of those burning eyes. If someone is brave enough to fight it and actually wins, the creature's body rots away in seconds, leaving nothing but a pitch of dead earth where nothing will ever grow. But that almost never happens. For most, the moment those fiery eyes lock onto you in the dark, your journey is over. I like these stories. Fear can kill you slowly, but some spirits prefer to be more direct. They don't just stalk you from the shadows, they announce their arrival with a sound that freezes your blood, a melody with a terrifying, twisted logic. The next, El Silbón. You're alone, maybe in a house out on the vast plains of Venezuela or Colombia, because it's everywhere, with nothing but the wind for company. Then you hear it, a faint whistle drifting through the air, following the notes of a musical scale: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do. I'm not singing it because I can't sing. It sounds far away. You might even feel relieved. But when El Silbón, but with El Silbón, that's the worst sign of all. Because here's the cruel trick: when his whistle sounds distant, he's right next to you. When it sounds close, he's far away, and you're safe for now. El Silbón, or the Whistler, is the cursed soul of a young man who is doomed to wander the earth forever. The story goes that he was a spoiled brat who killed his own father in a rage, and when the man came back from a hunt empty-handed, killed his father in a rage when the man came back from a hunt empty-handed. When his grandfather found out, he cursed the boy to an eternity of torment, whipping him, covering his wounds in chili and lemon juice, and setting rabid dogs on him, before forcing him to carry his father's bones in a sack for all time. Now he's a tall, skeletal figure who stalks the plains, mainly targeting drunks and womanizers. But he's not picky. Back in your house, you hear the whistle again. This time it's loud and clear, as if it's miles away. And that's when you know he's right on top of you. You might hear the soft, dry rattle of bones as he drops his sack on your doorstep to count them. If you hear him counting, you're safe. But if you don't hear him by dawn, someone in your house is going to die. Your blood runs cold, the door creaks open. The last thing you see is a tall, thin shadow in a wide brimmed hat. And the last thing you hear is that bone chilling whistle, now soft and close, as if it's being whispered right into your ear. He's here to collect your bones and add them to his sack. Dun dun dun. I know. Got a little intense, didn't it? From the twisted beauty of La Ciguanaba to the relentless terror of El Cadejo, to the dreadful whistle of El Silbón, These spirits are a special kind of horrifying. They aren't just monsters that kill you, they're living omens. Their very presence means your story is over. They represent deep seated cultural fears of betrayal, greed, and disrespect, and serve as gruesome warnings passed down through generations. These legends are still very much alive, haunting the lonely roads and quiet nights of Latin America, a stark reminder that some lines should never be crossed, and some figures are better left as stories. So if you're ever walking alone at night and hear a faint whistle, or the padding of unseen paws, or see a beautiful stranger by the water, remember these tales, because by then it might already be too late. If you enjoyed these chilling stories and want to dive into more dark folklore from around the world, especially Latin America, because that's what I do here, be sure to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next trip into the unknown. Hey, I got to do a call to action. Why? Because, like I said, I'm breaking these up into 3 different stories, or 4 different stories, actually. I'm doing 4, so I got to break it up,